Number 5. The piano from Super Mario 64. The last thing you want— okay, no, not really. People usually say the same exact things in these types of videos, so I'm gonna try my best to be different. I grew up in a slightly different generation than some other YouTubers, and honestly, I was a weird kid. Like, I loved Invader Zim, which is an extremely disturbing show that a lot of kids hated, yet I was terrified of other simple stuff. Why? I still don't know. But anyways, let's talk about some 5 scary children's media moments that freaked me out. It's the freak phone. As a kid, I loved SpongeBob. However, there were 2 episodes that I refused to watch. One is the rather obvious wormy episode, cause you know, bugs, don't really like them. Especially bees or things that buzz loudly, and oh, this episode uses that basically as a jump scare? Okay, no thanks, I'm gonna leave the room. Even just the title card for this episode is kinda terrifying with its really dark reds. But now that I'm not a weenie, I actually think this is one of the funniest episodes of the show. The second episode I was afraid of was Karate Choppers, because of this.
I command this particular drop of hot sauce to be really, really hot.
Yeah, don't like that. Aside from that being a scary visual, the scene just has a lot of weird tension that I think added to my fear. There's something really surreal about how SpongeBob notices the face. Also, fun fact, that is the face of Tom Kenny, SpongeBob's voice actor, covered in red makeup. This scene was filmed in a restroom because Tom needed to remove the makeup as quickly as possible for an upcoming audition. So that's fun, but maybe they could have just not put this scene in the episode at all. This next one is actually just a trailer for a movie, but I distinctly remember it freaking me out as a kid.
The Face of Mischief.
Yeah, this is Son of the Mask. I vividly remember this trailer came on at the theater, and once that dog's face showed up, I jumped out of my seat, turned around, and buried my face in the seat until the trailer was over. Given when the movie came out, I was probably 5 years old when this happened, so my fear is justified, I think. Now, I certainly don't think this dog is scary anymore, it's just straight up really ugly.
Looks like your baby's just fine. No defects at all.
Hear that?
Just really ugly. Like, don't have another kid.
I haven't seen this movie in full, but it's filled with visuals that would have freaked me out as a kid. They tried to use CG to create a sort of real-world cartoon, which is a creative idea, but it looks pretty terrible. Also, apparently this movie is terrible, so ha! How dare you scare me? Me! Cryptid, the ultimate! This next one is surprisingly obscure, and I don't have much to say about it, but you know there's a Beauty and the Beast Christmas special? I've hardly heard anyone cover this, but in this special, the main villain is a CGI piano, and he is very threatening.
Oh, come along, it's merely an opera. To bring the house down.
Oh, what's this? Oh, heavens, look! I'm bolted to the wall!
I have a really vague memory of this since I must have seen it when I was really young, but this dude freaked me out, and up until making this video I thought it was a woman, but I guess it's not. This is probably the first thing on the list that was designed to be intentionally frightening, and it succeeds at that. I think the lighting especially adds to the creepiness of this dude. He even has a song that's surprisingly good.
As soon as your heart rules your head, your life is not your own. It's hell!
Wait, what? You can't say that! Honestly, I think this character scared me out of watching any other 2D Disney movies. That and the fact that the movies seemed to be about princesses made young me disinterested. Which is weird because nowadays, overly cutesy and whimsical stories with sudden dark shifts in imagery is like my favorite trope. But yeah, I didn't watch classic Disney movies until I was like 15, and that's in part because my toddler self was scared of them. Apparently this piano character dies at the end of this movie, so he'll never be in anything else with actual good texturing that makes him even scarier and lets him traumatize other kids. Yay! I say that, but looking at all these clips now, this guy's actually pretty cool, especially considering he's from a Disney sequel. I actually want to watch this movie now.
Don't fall in love. Don't fall in love.
Courage the Cowardly Dog is responsible for scaring a lot of people. Everybody talks about it all the time, but people usually focus on Return the Slab or
And ferry to a private room, your hero, ever Doughty.
Or You're not perfect. Like literally, what is this thing? But as a kid, I never even saw those episodes because one other episode scared me away from the whole show. And that episode was The House of Discontent, which features this lovely dude.
I'm the spirit of the harvest moon.
Yeah, hate that. Much like everything in Courage, this guy was deliberately designed to be as scary as possible, and why was this a kid's show? I remember this episode was on our small CRT TV at night when only one light was on, so that certainly added to my fear. I'm really learning from this list that I was afraid of faces and echoey voices. I'd say the spirit is a scarier version of what's number 1 on this list, but he isn't number 1 because I only ever saw this small scene once. Number 1 is something I watched regularly but was terrified of, and it's probably gonna make you laugh, but Number 1 is... It really is the piano for Mario. No, it's not. I'm just joking around. It's from Bear in the Big Blue House. Don't laugh. You know this show? It's a great Playhouse Disney show for the whole family with very inviting and wholesome puppet characters that teach you things and make you feel at home. But one of these puppets did not do that. You see, at the end of every episode, Bear would go into the attic to meet one of his friends and sing the goodbye song.
I bet Luna will want to hear all about it. No! Let's go up and tell her.
Please, no!
Come on.
No!
This is Luna. I was very scared of her as a kid, but not scared enough to stop watching the show. I actually loved watching this show every morning, and no matter how unsettling this character was, I never stopped. What really got to me wasn't the show itself, but the fact that I had frequent nightmares about Luna. And I mean frequent, like every night. About every night I'd have some sort of dream where Luna ominously appeared outside my window, broke into my house, or appeared on my TV screen. It was nuts and honestly made me hate sleeping because I knew no matter what this face would confront me. And it wasn't always Luna, sometimes the face was a little different. One time it even looked like E.T.'s head for some reason. But all these terrors happened because of this damn character. A lot of the time, the face was accompanied by red smoke and ambience like the PlayStation 2 error screen. I remember one time I went a while without having a nightmare, but eventually I had a dream where the white face appeared again and literally said, "Hi, long time no see." Like, what? And I remember one time when I went to Disney World as a kid, they did a live Bear in the Big Blue House performance, and there was a projection of Luna during that, and I was just like, wow, I'm in the same room as my night terror, this is crazy. I imagine every kid had some sort of reoccurring monster they feared, and mine just came from a weird source. Anyways, that does it for this list. Hope you enjoyed learning about this stuff that scared me. I strangely had a lot of fun thinking back to this stuff. Now, hopefully the nightmares don't come back. Feel free to comment about what scared you as a kid. I'm sure everyone has their own unique things to bring up, and maybe some of that stuff would be good to discuss in a future video. Thanks for watching.
Do you have time to sing a goodbye song before you go? Always Bear. Hey, this was really fun. We hope you liked it too. Seems like we've just begun when suddenly we're through. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. 'Cause now it's time to go.